Well, hello everybody. We're back now. It's now later in the day here on July 27th, 2019. The reason that I'm doing another vlogging video is because I kind of wanted to just talk with you all a little bit about something, nothing real serious, but just a little something here that sort of kind of has gone on throughout the day a little bit here. So basically, we both know, and for a lot of you that have seen a lot of my videos throughout a lot of the summer of 2019 here in Rochester, you know, you probably can figure out that people like myself here around here and here in Rochester have definitely so far for summer 2019 done quite done quite a lot of stuff, especially including our couple of days away this week that we did that we had just gotten back from just yesterday, later in the day yesterday, Thousand Islands trip and stuff. You know, a good part of a good a, a good a good a good part of this week and stuff. A good part of the, a good part a good part of this 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 week for a couple of days for 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 couple for couple for 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 cup for cup for for couple for couple of days for couple of days and stuff, for couple of days for couple of days and for couple of for couple for for couple of days for couple of for couple of days for for couple of days and for couple of days for for couple for couple of days for couple of days and stuff this week. And so far it's all been all in all going fine based on keeping busy almost up almost up almost um, almost um, almost up almost up almost up almost all summer 2019 stuff here in Rochester and around Rochester and stuff. Um, it's just that kind of just kind of you know slightly kind of today kind of overreacted a little bit to a slight little bit of situation. I mean, so earlier this week, well, you may you may remember you 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 you, you, you may you may remember in one of my videos from 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 a few weeks back and stuff, way earlier, way 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 earlier this month. The beginning of this, the be, the beginning of this, the beginning of this month and stuff. When I had talked about how a lot of this time I've been mostly using for right now for charging cell phone and stuff, mainly the charger cord that I also use for charging for charging for charging for 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 char for for char for 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 char for char for charging tablet and stuff for charging for charging tablet and stuff for charging for charging tablet and for charging tablet and stuff. And that's when it started getting to the point where it's now kind of to the point where it kind of comes and goes, some with cell phone, it's still for the most part so far, at least up to this point, has seemed to still work okay. Has seemed it has 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 seemed to still has has seemed has seemed to still work okay for charging cell phone. It's just that right now it's kind of to the point where it kind of comes and goes, where it kind of comes and goes, come come comes and go comes and goes comes and go, comes and goes a little bit. So this past Tuesday, before taking off for our Thousand Islands trip, early in the morning, well, first let me put it this way: late Monday evening, Monday night, before I went to before I went to bed and stuff, I took my charger cord that I also use for charging tablet, plugged it into outlet over by one of my kitchen countertops, and it seemed as if everything was fine and was working all right. Um, uh, then when I got up in the morning and I had seen that the red light was on when it was still plugged in, you know, there's been a couple instances there's been a couple instances now where I've kind of, attempted to borrow one of our house phone chargers for each of our house cell phones that we got here and stuff. And initially, and, and it, initially there hasn't been too much of a problem with that. It's just that it's also kind of, getting to the point where get getting to the getting to the point where it's getting to be kind of embarrassing to a lot of our people here. So, um, it really ultimately would be in best interest to just go up to maybe either our nearest Walmart or Target and look at some new chargers, like new phone chargers that would be compatible. You know, Again, the charger that I use for my tablet, you know, the the plug part, fits into cell phone just fine, and for the most part seems to be working okay for charging cell phone as well. But again, right now we're kind of to the point where it kind of right now comes and goes a good bit with that. Sometimes it takes a little bit of time for it to kick in. It will ultimately eventually, but it may take a little bit more time for it to kick in. Eventually it does, but it will take a little bit more time. So this past Tuesday morning, before going to dental appointment, before taking off our Thousand Islands trip, when I went down asking about and inquiring about just briefly using house phone charger, you know, initially, initially they were okay with it then, but at the same time too, again, it was getting quite embarrassing to them, where they kind of had asked, why not just go up to like Walmart or Target or something and go buy a new and go buy and go buy and 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 go buy 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 and and go and go buy and and go buy and go and go buy and go buy and go buy and go buy a new one and stuff, and go buy and go buy a new one. Just go buy a new one, and and go buy and go buy and and go buy and go buy a new one. Just go buy a new one and stuff. You know, which again ultimately would kind of be in best interest. Obviously we can afford it. Maybe just the thing that tends to hold us back from spending the money on certain things is, again, our financial situation's fine at this point in time. I guess, just, yes, of course, we brought quite a bit with us, spending cash wise, spending money wise for our Thousand Islands trip we just got back from yesterday, and that we did for a good part of this week. You know, it wasn't like, it wasn't like anything like real out of control, and stuff. I guess we're just, the fact that, at times we've kind of had to have our hours cut at work at BJ's and stuff. We're just trying to, focus on at least trying to preserve it, try, 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 trying to preserve enough of money, cash, and we have all in all. Phone chargers I know aren't usually that expensive really. It's been a while since I've had to purchase one. I don't remember how much they usually are, but I know they're not usually that expensive at all really. So obviously stuff like that's manageable in my end, obviously. You know, so and of course, they had said, we'll just make sure we'll just make sure we'll just make sure when you're done with it you bring it right back down, all right? And we did. And then everything was fine. It lasted us in through our couple of days away in Thousand Islands trip, all in through yesterday and stuff. I meant to see how it would be trying to do it with charger that we mainly use for charging tablet while away on our Thousand Islands trip for the couple of days we were away on our Thousand Islands trip this week and stuff. We would kind of in our room that we in our room we ended up getting at Thousand Islands Harbor Hotel and stuff. We plugged it into a few different outlets. Seemed like nothing would happen, so I just assumed that I just kind of assumed and kind of had a pretty good idea. Maybe it wouldn't work so much. Maybe it wouldn't work so much there at a place away from home, away from away from away from away from home and stuff. But we just decided we'll just see where it all goes the rest of the trip till we get home on Friday. And so we did. We did that, and again, it lasted us all fine, all fine, all fine, all fine, all fine, and through yesterday when we came home. Late last night, before finally going to bed. Well, no, actually, it wasn't. It wasn't even last night. It wasn't even last night before going to bed. It was actually early. It was actually it was it was it was actually it was it was it was actually it was it was actually it was it was actually it was actually early this morning, real early this morning, that decided to plug it in an outlet that I've usually plugged it in for trying to see how it would be charging it up, charging it up and stuff. And at first, didn't see any reaction. Left it there for about a few minutes, and then came back about a few minutes later, and saw the red light, the red light was on, and so I thought, well, I guess it's working now. The thing was You know, obviously, now that we're back from Thousand Islands trip and stuff, and with all the pictures that we had taken throughout our time on our Thousand Islands trip this week, I usually tend to upload pretty much, maybe not exactly all of them, but a lot of them to a lot of the a, 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 a lot of them to a lot a, a, a lot a, a, a lot a lot a, a lot a lot of a lot a lot of a lot of a lot of them to like things like shutter both shut both both shut both shutter both shut both shutterfly both shutter both shutter both 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 shutterfly and sometimes snapfish. More so more so shutterfly and stuff. And I do tend to put a good bit of them on my Facebook page too. Not I don't put exactly all of them on my Facebook page, but at least the ones of me and stuff, I usually put all pretty much all my Facebook page. Almost all of them I usually put on on things like Shutterfly, sometimes Snapfish and stuff. So yesterday when we got home, as far as putting them all on Shutterfly all goes, I obviously got it all started and stuff, and I just finally finished it all up a little while ago. And so of course, while initially letting my cell phone be in initially charging and stuff, when I at first looked at cell phone, when it gets to be near the end before it's time to plug it in and charge it all up at the end, you know, in the battery bar, it it'll have a red thing coming up letting you know you better get it charged up. So again, I did initially plug it in with tablet charger, and it seemed as if after like about a minute, couple minutes or whatnot, it seemed like it was working okay for the time being. So decided to work more on uploading a good bit of my pictures from our Thousand Islands trip this week to Shutterfly and stuff. And then of course when my tablet got to the point where it was getting really low, to the point where then that was getting to the point where it was probably about time to kind of get that plugged back in. I thought I'd see where my cell phone was at with charging. So things made it look and seem as if it was working, as if everything was fine and was going okay. But when I unplugged it, then the battery bar started blinking, and then an icon came up in the screen saying, quote, battery low and stuff. So I thought, well, I guess I'll go down at least one more time and see about borrowing the house phone charger again. Initially they were okay, and they said it's all right this time, but our people here said that our people here said though it's really necessary though. It's really necessary it's really necessary after all said and done though to go out to either Walmart or Target and get a new and and get and get a new and get and get a new phone charger and stuff after that, which will definitely which will definitely keep in here for sure. Try and keep up here for sure. You know what I mean by that, right? And so basically, um, anytime when you come back from anytime any any anytime and anytime and anytime any anytime any anytime and anytime anytime, anytime, any anytime anytime when you come back from anytime when you come back from an interesting trip and being away on being away all on that for being away all on that for being away all on that for the past couple of days and stuff. It can take time to deal with getting through that transition from 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 that to being from 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 that to being back home and stuff. And we understand that our people that we had asked and inquired about borrowing house phone charger at least one more time and stuff obviously couldn't help but just again feel embarrassed obviously, and just that you know it's probably kind of gone far enough to the point where really kind of need to kind of try and get serious about getting about go about 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 going out and about 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 going out and getting about going out about going out about going out and getting a new charger, because it is obvious that it's not something that our people here should have to consistently or constantly have to put up with, obviously. And we do ultimately respect that, obviously. The fact is, I guess, just knowing that we have no control over if and when our tablet charger decides to kick in, whenever it decides to kick in is when it decides to kick in, and that's fine. I guess you just at least had to have something to get your phone charged back up, because it was really getting down to the wire, which we did, but kind of inconveniencing things and in kind of an embarrassing to other people kind of situation. you know so then we kind of started going on how yeah about not being ready to deal with the men and women authority figures consistently just yet, while we're going through the transitioning from being away to now being back home and stuff. So and then eventually when we got into a situation how we're kind of limiting one-on-one kind of deals and stuff of ways of going on outings and stuff, due to the fact that we're kind of staffing here is not completely weak, but kind of weak. We're kind of down. We are kind of down a good bit, at least a couple people, to the point enough where doing things one-on-one style is kind of right now needs to be kind of kept to a minimum. And then, well, we know we did Darien Lake the end of last month and stuff with one of our other group homes, and that all went well. That all went fine. That all went really, really well, all in all. We worked everything out. We all worked together. It all went really, really well, all in all. And so then we kind of went into, how, we're kind of looking to try to do one other time of that, perhaps some point for August. We still have all of August 2019. So then I kind of asked one of our people for, well, the group home that we did Darien Lake with the end of last month, again, was a group home called Scarlet Maple. So I had asked one of our people here if they happen to have Scarlet Maple's house phone number, which they did have, and they eventually brought it down to us, brought it down to us. And so then eventually, and then we started at first saying, we're just going to get Darien Lake ticket and that's it. And they said, well, how exactly do you think that you're gonna, get around to stuff like that. But again, you see, that's where we asked for Scarlet Maple's phone number, which again they did have, and then they did bring to us. They did bring to me. They did bring to us. And so then eventually we did give them a buzz about, because the past couple of years they've been getting season passes to Darien Lake. That includes this year. So I eventually after that gave them a buzz, asking about if they were planning on doing any other Darien Lake, little Darien Lake time some point throughout the rest throughout the rest of the season till the season's over. And so a couple of their boys happened to be there at the time that one of their Scarlet Maple staff ladies had been there, and so they had asked them, quote, if they're even into planning to do another like day or whatnot some point for August going to Darien Lake, and they sounded interested all in all. They ultimately sounded interested all in all for the most part. Their senior manager, it sounds like, is going to be, as of now at least, coming around this upcoming Tuesday, which is the day that I go back to work, which will be my first day, which will be my first which will be my first day 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 back to work which will be my first day back to work. Sorry, walking into the bathroom where the light's off right now, but anyway, so like if they're even able to get together as a team during that time at Scarlet Maple with their senior manager, when their senior manager as of now shall come around, unless anything comes up, then they'll try and get together as a team and see if they can work and see if or what they can work out or when they can work anything out, and then either they'll give here at the place a buzz and let them know everything, or we can maybe like on Wednesday or something, day after, give them a buzz and follow up with them then or whatnot. Well, and again, if you're wondering what the title of this video is about, so we kind of overreacted to stuff a little bit. So there's certain guidelines there's certain guidelines a little bit that we that we do kind of need to follow around here, and that we do kind of need to deal with and stuff, and certain policies and stuff that we need to deal with and go by and go by and stuff, and due to the fact of the kind of little disagreement that kind of had over such things with what we've been talking about this time, mainly with putting certain things in place, then we decided, we decided to write on a piece of paper something that probably wasn't really necessary to really get into in the first place, not going to go too much into detail, but it was kind of like, we're not going to deal with stuff till we can work this out. We're just going to give you a run for your money and stuff. Well, those obviously were not any of the words that we had written down on the piece of paper in the note. Excuse me. But, definitely stuff prior to that, but stuff that kind of sounded like an indication of that. But just, we ain't going to deal with this, we ain't going to want to get certain things done until then. And then one of our people, once they had seen it, they had came and just, kind of had work. They had just came and had some words pretty much with us about how around here, we've ever since the day that this place opened up a long time ago, years ago, we signed certain papers, make sure this gets done each day, and make sure that make sure make sure we get this done and taken care of to the required amount of times that we're supposed to get things taken care of before the end of the month, before the end of the before the end of the month, before the month, be, be, before the month, be, before the end of the month, before the end of the month, before the month is up, and before the month is up and stuff, and how this obviously is not the way to deal with this obviously is not the way to deal with try to put this certain situation in place and stuff, and how there needs to be other more mature tactics of dealing with going about trying to put such things in place, and just how everyone around here so far this year throughout summer 2019 has definitely done everything in their power to work with us to help us get certain things in place and doing a lot of the certain things that we wish to do throughout all summer 2019 so far, especially up to this point. And you know and we definitely have at least a couple more things coming up throughout the rest of the summer, like weather permitting, weather dependent. 2 weeks from today, we got that Chapin Charity Golf Tournament at Terry Hill's Golf Course out in Batavia. Weather permitting, weather dependent. 2 weeks from today, Saturday the 10th of August. Then weather permitting and weather dependent the following Saturday, the 17th of August. Going and spending a good part of the day at Roseland Water Park, weather permitting and weather dependent. And then after that, because it's right there, maybe making a brief pit stop at stop over at stop over at Kershaw Park and stuff right nearby, which is right on Canandaigua Lake, because our partner that agreed to do it with us all, when we asked about doing that a little bit afterwards or soon before, or more so maybe afterwards, they seem fine and agreeable with that. So yeah, we'll see what happens with trying to plan another. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with trying to plan one other time to Darien Lake. I'll keep you updated on that, and we'll do a vlog, and we'll do a vlog on if we can get any updates on things with Scarlet Maple Group Home in a few days. So that's as far as I'm going to bring the vlog now. So that's all for now. Try and do a vlog tomorrow and a lot on a lot of the pictures we've taken throughout our Thousand Islands trip this week, and we'll see you then. Talk to you later.